Ralph gave his Vanquish, his personal Vanquish, to my father. One of the more interesting cars I've had, and certainly a car that I've had for a long time, is my 2003 Aston Martin Vanquish. Growing up as a child of the 80s, it was always, were you Team Testarossa or Team Countach? And I was always Team Countach. The Aston Martin Vanquish is a very interesting car. So the story of this car is my father worked for Ralph Lauren as the president and chief operating officer for 15 years, from 2000 to 2015. And my dad was a big Bond fan. And so around 2005, Ralph gave his Vanquish, his personal Vanquish, to my father as a gift. I don't remember what the exact milestone was. It wasn't like his birthday or anything, but he gave my dad the car. And it's an 03 Vanquish. It has, it's dark titanium, the James Bond color, the standard, dark gray. But it's unique because it has a purple label interior. Not purple, the color. Ralph Lauren purple label, leather and suede. They sent the swatches to Aston Martin, and they do the interior with that. Aston Martin, if you're Ralph Lauren, they'll do that for you. They also have his name is stamped in the door sill, which is very cool. Hand built in England for Ralph Lauren. My dad is not that into cars, and he's very tall. He's like 6'5", and he worked so much that he would only really drive to the golf course on weekends, but his golf bag wouldn't even fit in the Vanquish. And so I was living locally at the time. I was running I had graduated from college. I was running the detailing shop with Larry around that time. And while he didn't give me the car, I basically became its custodian. I drove it once a week or so. I didn't, I was in my 20s. I didn't have to ask permission. I drove it. And to go back to my privilege and my growing up and being more honest about myself, I used to pretend it was a little more mine than it is. You know what I mean? It was his, and I drove it a lot, and I cared for it, but I wanted to seem more self-made than I was. And I would tell not entire truths about that car. This is the truth about the car. My dad loved it, but he never really showed all that much interest in driving it, besides having it in the garage and taking it out once a month or whatever. In about 2013, when the car had, 8,000 miles on it. It did not have a lot of miles on it. We got it with like 3,500, and it did not get driven all that much. But Pops and I decided that we would send the car back to England to have Newport Pagnell, the Aston Martin Works factory, converted to a stick, which is very expensive. And the entire time they're doing it, Aston Martin treats you like they're doing some huge favor for you, and you should somehow thank them, and not that you've paid them this astronomical amount of money to fix their horrible gearbox. But I will say that the car is fabulous. I mean, and while I was there, we had them wire open the exhaust baffles, so it was on loud mode all the time, which is a beautiful tone. I mean, beautiful sounding car. And it's a stick. And it's, other than having 3 pedals in a pedal box sized for 2 pedals, aside from that, honestly, you wouldn't know it didn't come like that from the factory. I mean, they did a really beautiful job. They made the interior look right. The shifter doesn't look out of place. Everything works. And it's a beautiful car that I really, really love to drive. The only downside is I have to take my shoes off to drive it because the pedal box is so small. And that is annoying. But, the powertrain is great. There's some part spin stuff, but especially when you compare it to the brand new Astons, my God, is it pretty and elegant and subtle and timeless. And I think as far as a long-term hold, in the long term, pretty and sounding good is what it takes. The car could be a total hunk of shit. They could have blinkers out of a Volvo and headlights from a whatever else. But if it's pretty and it sounds good, it's a good long play. And so I will never sell this car. My dad will, technically he still owns it, but he does, it's mine. He'll never sell it. I'll never sell it. And, I feel like Pebble Beach 2040, that car will over time become incredibly appreciated, and not necessarily in a money way, in a cultural way, because of how beautiful it is and because of what it did for Aston Martin at that time, and because you can still use it. It's a great car to use. There's nothing about that car that would prevent me from getting in it and driving it across the country right now. It's fine. So the Aston Martin is really cool. It doesn't get driven that much, but it is very cool.
Premier Financial Services has been a sponsor of VINwiki for the last 4 years, and we can't thank them enough for their support, and we love them for that, but also because their simple lease truly is a tremendous product in the world of exotic car financing. They allow you to minimize your payment, minimize your down payment, take all the tax advantages that are available for a lease, while still giving you the ability to move in and out of cars and accumulate equity. So they structure it in a very unique way that's hugely advantageous, gives you a lot more buying power, and their customer service is absolutely incredible. So we love Mitch and their team for their continued support of the channel. We thank them for that, but please visit them at the link in the description below and find out how easy it is to buy your dream car through Premier Financial Services.